Can you maybe share a bit about yourself?
Sure. So I was born in France. Everyone in my family is from a different place. So my mother's Italian, my dad's from Peru. I was born in France. One sister, I have two sisters. One was born in the US, in Miami. The other one was born in Vancouver, in Canada.
So this already is like, I think,
it's a jumble.
an interesting mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work, all these?
It works well, except every 4 years during the World Cup, then we all kind of, but no, it's been good. And I mean, I think I got the brunt of the multiculturalism because we moved around a lot until I was 10. When I was 10, then I think my parents were kind of like, hey, let's just pick one place, too much changing for the kids. At that point, I was the only kid, so let's just let him develop some skills, like some social skills, some friends that are more stable. So they thought about every place that they lived, and up until that point, they lived in Italy, in France, in Peru, various places in the US, a little bit in Canada. And out of all the places, the city that attracted them most was Vancouver. So we moved to Vancouver. And so from the age of 10 through the end of my university and the start of my professional career, it was all Vancouver. But having said that, summer times, it was family. And as I mentioned, my mother's Italian, my dad's from Peru. We really spent all of our summers abroad, and predominantly in Italy. So every year for 2 to 3 months a year, I'd be in Italy. So,
and your mom's family lives there?
Yes.
Practically all of them.
And we speak Italian at home.
At home.
And just for the people watching, why did your parents move that much? Like, what was their profession, or why was this your lifestyle?
Yeah, running from the no. My dad was an architect. That's what he was trained as. And he met my mom while he was doing an architectural scholarship in Rome. My mother was from Sardinia, from the island, and she was studying in Rome linguistics, and they met, I think, at a visa office. I think they were going someplace, Greece or something. And that's how they met, and that's lightning, I guess, and romance. And he followed her back to Sardinia, and then they got together, and the rest is somewhat history. But that's how they met.
Yeah, and the profession your dad had?
My dad
why
was,
did you move so much?
he became an architect, so there's a lot of project work. So he would do really large projects and sometimes move for months, and the family would go with them. And then later on, his professor from university became president of Peru, and he asked my dad to...
Why not?
Why not, right? It's sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So, he asked my dad to do some work in the diplomatic corps. So my dad worked as a consul for Peru and for Western Canada, so he opened some of the consulates. But that was also really enriching because our social circle now all of a sudden was all these diplomats from around the world. And so when we weren't traveling as much anymore, it didn't matter because the home life and the people that we were surrounded by were all multinationals.
Yes.
It's also moving around.
Well, they would move around.
So,
so they would come in with like their stories, but then we could also relate to them because we were also so multicultural ourselves. And it was interesting the diplomacy that exists even in the social circles. Like, I'm gonna have a party, but this country's at war with this country, so we can't really kind of have them at the same party. So there was such a conscious mindset about even socializing.
And how did that shape you? Your choices later on, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe a better listener in some ways because I try and pick up on some of those like societal cues and try and understand people's background and understand that they have like a whole history and things that they bring to the experience. And if I'm having a party or if I'm getting together with a group of people, I'm very sensitive to people's backgrounds and upbringings and like where they're from and consciously trying not to offend.
Yes.
And I will often say, like, communication happens when impact and intent coincide, right? So you may have the best of intentions, but if the impact's negative, there's no communication. And so oftentimes I will say, even in interpersonal relationships, look, trust my intent. If I say something and it doesn't come across the right way, judge me based on my intent, and at least let me know. Give me an opportunity to try and clear it up, because so many times I find in multicultural settings, I might say something that is offensive to someone, not knowing it. I don't feel a strong allegiance to any specific country.
Okay.
I don't feel like one nationality versus another. In general, I just feel European.
European, because at some point you decided to move to Europe.
Yeah, and that was, I'd been living in the US at that point. So, you know, I told you I grew up in Vancouver, but professionally I moved to Silicon Valley and I worked in California.
Yeah.
A lot of travel with that job, but I mean, it was still California based. And I was surrounded by mostly Americans and people that had moved to Silicon Valley to work there.
Yeah.
And I just felt detached at a certain point, you know, and I just wanted to be someplace else.
Okay. And what was the reason why you wanted to move out?
Like I said, the number of people that I would meet, and I love my California friends. I have so many friends in California, but at that time, and I'm happy to see that it's changed over the years, but at the time, the number of people I would meet at, let's say, at a party, who had never left California, I forget the US, had never left California, was shocking to me, and a number of people didn't even have curiosity outside of California. It's like, why would I leave? I mean, we have mountains and the ocean, et cetera, et cetera.
They kind of missed like the mix of people. It was too much just California.
Yeah, I missed other influences.
And different influences, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you grew up around as well, of course.
Exactly.
That's what you were used to. So
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised because I would expect from like Silicon Valley that it would be like global citizens or people moving around or traveling a lot.
Well,
For business or...
what you get though is you have, I guess in the ethos of classical ethos of like the U.S., right? That you'll hear the U.S. is a melting pot, and this notion is all these different cheeses. These cheeses Dutch people, right? But all the cheeses melt, and then they become like one sort of homogeneous mixed cheese. Yeah, it's just some cheese, right? It's like a fondue. It's just all there. And that's like the American identity, my perception of it, at least at the time, was that you kind of come in with whatever nationalities, whatever heritage you have, but then you want to be American. So you meld and you become American for acceptance. As opposed to Canada. Canada, we see ourselves as a mosaic, where you have this tapestry and every person, every group maintains their cultural identity, and they come together to form this myriad sort of picture. And so that was like a fundamental difference in how I saw Canada versus the US. But now I was in the US, I didn't want to be the cheese. Like I just wanted to, you know, embrace difference. Have this whole curiosity. Like you'd have conversations. Hey, did you see what's happening in Europe, or what's happening like in Africa, or happening in Asia? And they're like, what? You know, no. Like what's going on with the 49ers? Like I mean, it was. Yeah. It just it was like that lack of curiosity. That kind of made me go, I just want to be someplace else. Not to mention the fact that even from an immigration status, I'd never become American. Like I mean,
you still had like a European passport?
No, I had a Canadian passport. I had a Canadian passport. Yeah, no. When I was 18, I ended up getting letters for conscription to do military service in France and other countries. I'm like, oh, I'm Canadian now. So I did that. Yeah. But no, through the whole process, the U.S. immigration process was what it was, and I just never progressed. Every time I would get to a new job, I'd go to the back of the line and start over again. And so after 15 years in California, I go, well, I'm not American. You know, I don't really have a significant relationship that's keeping me here. Like, why am I here? And like, what would make me happy? And so in thinking about it, it's like, I just want to be in Europe. And I didn't care where.
Well, that's
like I didn't.
You wanted to ask.
Like Europe? That's very, for us, that's a very strange.
No,
because Europe has already like so many
I don't want to be in Germany.
I mean, I found like a job, but there's a guy who you know, really great leader in the business, and he created a position for me, and he said, oh, we can put you either in Paris or in London. And I go, wherever, like whatever you want. And he
as
goes,
long as it's Europe.
Yeah, and he goes, well, you know, like in London, you can be close to like our management, but in Paris, you'll be close to our ownership. I go, whatever makes sense, Chuck, like whatever.
You just wanted to go to Europe.
Yeah. And then it was a week before I was supposed to start work, and I still didn't know where I was going. And so I called him up. I go, hey, like, where am I going? And he goes, oh, I hate to do this to you. Of course, my mind went like, is the job gone? Like, what's going on? He goes, we opened up like a tax office in the Netherlands. Would you mind going there? And I said, like, Chuck, I don't even have a plant. Just tell me where to go, and I'm there. And honestly, I mean, and I don't say this because you guys.
Before, or was it the first time?
No, I've been there. King's Day. I'd gone to one.
King's Day.
Actually, Queen's Day. I'd gone to Queen's Day here, so I had some orange in my wardrobe, but that was it. Yeah, and I have a good friend who I still am in contact with and play tennis with and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
who is the first person in the Netherlands that I've known, really.
And how do you feel about that now? So are you settled here, Dutch? Do you own a plant now?
A plant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you stay
In your
from
house?
that
Oh,
moment? Did you stay?
Yeah.
Interesting,
No.
I don't actually own a plant. I have these wonderful wooden painted plants from travels in Asia, but I don't actually have a physical, like I water it or it dies plant. And
But did you stay in the Netherlands then, or did you move around also in Europe?
no,
You stayed in the Netherlands.
but my job here again was travel, so I'm in the Netherlands and embarrassingly, don't speak Dutch. I can read the blue envelopes, that's important,
important,
then
yeah.
you don't have to pay or not pay.
Yeah.
And when I came 14 years ago, it was a little bit more difficult because there wasn't as much facility around translational software, but now it's everywhere. I just
Yeah.
put my camera, I don't even need to do anything, it translates everything for me. So it's, I often joke that if I'd had a Dutch girlfriend, I probably would have learned Dutch, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Yet. But,
Who knows?
there's
You
always
never know.
tomorrow.
You don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
I don't know who's watching.
No, I'm just kidding.
But,
yeah. So you're here for like 14 years?
14
now?
years, yeah. I came in and I bought a place within 6 months of arriving. you
And
know.
identity-wise, do you feel more or less Dutch now, or?
No,
Like, how do you feel?
I mean,
Or-
I'm still, I don't schedule things, scheduling this was a big thing for me. To show up, wow, 2 weeks out, that was
We're
big for
not
me.
even that scheduled.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm used to just dropping in, I'm last minute,
Oh, yeah.
I
So you do feel a difference in Dutch mentality first and what you would feel like is your European.
yeah, my sort of loosey-goosey Southern European
Southern
specific.
European.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just want to mention it. Within Europe, you also have different cultures.
Definitely.
I mean, scheduling in Germany or
Yeah, we're
in
more
Italy.
Nordic countries are different.
It's very
than
different.
Southern
Yeah,
countries.
it's not this more of a guideline.
Yeah.
Sure.
And would you want to date a Dutch woman?
Oh, not because she's Dutch, though.
Or specifically because
A
you're not
European.
Dutch. What kind of European?
Well, I mean,
Because there's a lot of different women here with
Yeah.
different mentalities.
but I think that's the thing though is kind of when you go as a multicultural person, we have a certain background, we're used to being able to pick up and reinvent in a different location over and over again.
True.
And part of that comes with working on maintaining friendships. So just because I'm no longer in California, for example, doesn't mean I don't stay in contact with my California friends. So it means a lot more work is placed on maintaining those friendships as you start new ones.
Yeah.
Um,
So identity-wise, do you feel then European, or would you say a global citizen?
I think more European, just because from a values base. So I was raised with European values, Italian, and I would say Peruvian values are very similar to Italian values in terms of the importance of the
No
family
scheduling, yes.
and
No
no scheduling.
scheduling.
Exactly.
Food,
a lot of food.
revolving around food.
Yeah, and the
family.
importance of meals, family meals
Yeah.
is a very big thing. That's a
Family
great point.
community. Yeah.
I mean, every Friday for me was family dinner night. We just decided as a family, we're gonna go out for dinner on Fridays. And so, a lot of my Canadian friends, it's Friday night, we're gonna go out.
Yeah.
And I'd be I'll join you afterwards because I've got family dinner first.
Yes, yeah.
And so that was a very important part of the family unit. So that's kind of how I was brought up. And so for me, that's European, my idea of
Yeah.
European is, right? So, so I mean, I think in terms, to answer your question, around a Dutch woman or something like that, it's interesting because there's aspects that I definitely admire and miss because I didn't have them as part of my upbringing. So a stability, a larger family unit. So with my family, it's me, my mom, my dad, my two sisters, it's 5 of us. That's it. At Christmas
More
time,
extended family
it's just
around it, yeah.
no one around us. No one within 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers of us, right? So my dad's family was all in South America. My mother's family was all in Italy. So that meant Easter, Christmas, those things, it's just the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And so, though there's a niceness around that closeness, on the other hand, I kind of miss what you see and you go here's this family
You mean like a
thing with
big
like
table?
20 people. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know your name, sort of thing. Because
So
there's
there are aspects of like,
yeah,
if you live here, that would be, you find attractive.
Very much
This
so.
is something I would like.
yeah. I'm envious of
And-
people that have like, for example, like you know, this is
Cousins.
Yan Yap, who I grew up with
Yeah.
since we were like
Yeah, yeah.
5. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
like I think of who I knew when I was 5.
Yeah.
What are there other aspects as well that you feel like that might not work for you? Because you, I don't know if.
That's the double-edged sword, right? Because at the same time,
Mm.
it's I do like travel. I do like, you know, that flexibility of being able to go. And people will say, well, what if, you know, they go, is this your forever home? Like, are you gonna
Yes.
live and die? Like now you have your house in the
This is
Netherlands,
it.
and
Final stop.
yeah, and I go, well, the weather sucks. Like I go, I need to be someplace
Then you
warm,
have
like
Italy.
yeah, and then
Like
I've got
1 hour
Italy or
away.
Spain or you know. But that is
Yeah.
what I tell people. I
Yeah.
go, the nice thing about the Netherlands is in
You
2
can
hours
easily
you can
go
be someplace
everywhere,
warm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for yourself, like for the future, do you see yourself moving back to Canada again or the US, or will it really be Europe?
No,
you think?
it'll honestly, it'll be kind of, yeah, it'll be a couple things. Like, so for example, if I think of like what my retirement place is, like where do I want to like, you know, be? It's near water. Like I need to be near an ocean. That's just
Yeah.
part of, I like the air around an ocean, so that's gotta be it. It's gotta be within an hour of a big city, because I want the flexibility of a nice airport, so that if I wanna go someplace else,
You
I can.
easily go.
You know, so that's why I look at places, like I'll think of like, oh, like Valencia's, and I'll think of, you know, places in Sardinia, but they have to be near like a large enough airport
Yeah.
that can service.
And the weather, you mentioned.
I like
the
good weather, yes.
So, 'cause you.
I don't want the big coats.
But
And,
it's a little bit more warm than.
yeah, I'm less likely to pick, you know,
Yeah.
no offense to
Then
Finnish
I-
friends, but I'm less likely to pick, you know, someplace up in Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then most probably Italy, I would guess, right? Like water, mountains,
Yeah.
family.
Spain also,
good
like
food.
Greece is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, I
Like
mean,
Southern European.
the nice thing about anything multicultural is you have like this broad base to draw from, and you have these experiences that are not limited to like one demographic or one social class.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I really liked about living in Europe, and in the Netherlands particularly, is it's such a nexus. Like, you know, I go out and I meet people from every society, from every culture, and they're all here for different reasons.
Yeah.
And the world is definitely becoming more global in some ways, and you know, politics aside, even in the U.S., you have that, but not to the same degree. And the same thing is like also like in North America, it's been overall a very stable political climate, really. You know, there's not been a lot of change, but you know, you go out here and you meet people from Eastern Europe, you meet people from Southern Europe, and you've seen people that have grown up in different ideologies and different political climates, and have gone through wars even in some cases, right? And it brings such a richness to it. And I think the thing that I comment on, and I think is just be open to all these experiences, and you can really take so many positives that you can either choose to integrate into your own life or just appreciate for like what they are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys
This
for
was
the time.
enlightening, very,
It was fun.
yeah, it was very much fun, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed.
If you have a question afterwards, because this was a lot,
Yeah.
so if you have a question, let us know.
Let us know.
Maybe I can understand people have questions for you, because I have 100, so let us know. And thank you so much.
Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.